If you ever hear someone calling your name inside your own house, when you know you're alone, do not answer. I did. And whatever answered me back is still inside my head. My name is Lucas Reed, and this happened in a small town in Ohio called Briar Creek. I moved there because it was quiet. Cheap rent. No distractions. Just an old house, a few neighbors, and long empty nights. At first, everything felt normal. Peaceful, even. The house was old, but not in a creepy way. Just worn. Wood floors that creaked a little. Walls that held on to the cold. The kind of place where every sound feels louder at night. But that didn't bother me. I actually liked it. Until the first time I heard my name. It happened about 2 weeks after I moved in. I was in the kitchen, washing dishes when I heard it. Lucas. Soft. Almost like a whisper. Right behind me. I turned around immediately. Nothing. No one. The house was empty. I checked every room just to be sure. Bedroom. Bathroom. Closets. Nothing. I told myself it was just my imagination. Maybe the pipes. Maybe the wind. Old houses make noise. That's what everyone says. So I ignored it. For a while. But then it happened again. 2 nights later. This time, I was in bed. Almost asleep. And I heard it again. Clearer. Closer. Lucas. I sat up instantly. My heart started racing. This time, I didn't move right away. Because I knew something wasn't right. The voice wasn't coming from outside. It wasn't coming from another room. It sounded like it was inside the house. Somewhere between the walls. Listening. Waiting. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. Slowly, I got out of bed. Each step across the floor felt heavier than the last. The sound of my own movement echoed through the silence. Too loud. Too exposed. I opened the bedroom door. The hallway was completely dark. The light from my phone barely reached the end. And for a moment, everything was still. Then, a sound. From downstairs. A slow creak. Like someone stepping on wood. My entire body froze. I wasn't alone. I knew that now. I moved toward the stairs slowly. Carefully. Trying not to make any noise. The closer I got, the colder the air felt. Like the temperature was dropping the further I moved down. When I reached the top of the stairs, I stopped. Something was down there. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. Standing. Waiting. And then, the voice came again. From the living room. Clear as day. Lucas. But this time, it didn't sound like a whisper. It sounded like me. For a few seconds I couldn't move. I just stood there at the top of the stairs, staring into the darkness below. Because hearing your own voice, coming from somewhere it shouldn't, does something to your brain. It doesn't feel like fear at first. It feels like confusion. Like reality just broke for a second. And you're waiting for it to fix itself. But it didn't. The house stayed silent. Heavy. Oppressive. I tightened my grip on my phone and slowly started walking down the stairs. Each step creaked under my weight, echoing through the house like I was announcing exactly where I was. Halfway down, I stopped again. The cold was stronger now. Unnatural. Not just the normal cold of an old house at night. This felt targeted. Like the air itself was reacting to something. I forced myself to keep going. One step at a time. When I reached the bottom, I turned toward the living room. The flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing the familiar shapes of furniture. Couch. Table. TV. Everything exactly where it should be. Empty. But that feeling didn't go away. The feeling that something was still there. Watching. I took a few steps forward. Hello? I said, my voice low, uncertain. No answer. Just silence. I swallowed hard. This isn't funny, I added, even though I knew no one was there to laugh. Then, a sound. Right behind me. A breath. Soft. Close. I spun around instantly, raising the flashlight. Nothing. Just the hallway. Empty. But I knew what I felt. Something had been right there. Close enough for me to feel it. Close enough to breathe. My heart was pounding now. Louder than anything else. I backed into the living room slowly, not taking my eyes off the hallway. I'm not alone, I whispered to myself. Saying it out loud made it worse. Made it real. And then, it spoke again. Not from the hallway. Not from upstairs. From everywhere. Lucas! The sound echoed through the walls. Through the floor. Through the air itself. And this time, it wasn't just my voice. It was layered. Like multiple versions of me speaking at once. Slightly out of sync. Slightly distorted. My stomach dropped. What do you want? I asked, my voice shaking. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a response. Immediate. Clear. I want to understand. The words came out slowly. Like they were being chosen carefully. Like something was learning how to speak. A chill ran down my spine. Understand what? I asked. Silence. Then, you. The word hit harder than it should have. Because of the way it said it. Not curious. Not innocent. Focused. Intentional. I took another step back. You're not real, I said, trying to convince myself more than anything. But the house responded. A sudden loud crack echoed from the kitchen. I flinched. The cabinets rattled slightly. Like something had just slammed into them from the inside. I am here, the voice said. Stronger now. More stable. Less distorted. That was the worst part. It was getting better. Learning faster. My breathing became shallow. What are you? I asked. A pause. Longer this time. Like it was thinking. Then, I was nothing. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then steadied. I was quiet. Another flicker. I was waiting. The temperature dropped even more. I could see my breath now. Inside the house. I heard you, it continued. I learned you. A deep, sinking feeling settled in my chest. This thing. It hadn't just appeared. It had been there. Before me. Listening. Waiting for something. Or someone. Why me? I asked. The answer came instantly. You opened. My mind raced. What does that mean? Silence. Then, you said my name. My entire body went cold. I never said your name, I said quickly. But even as the words left my mouth, something felt wrong. Like a memory just out of reach. Like something I had forgotten. The voice didn't respond immediately. Instead, something else happened. A sound from upstairs. A slow, deliberate step. Then another. My blood ran cold. I wasn't the only one moving in the house anymore. And then, from the top of the stairs, in perfect clarity, I heard my own voice again, calling from above. Lucas, come here. I didn't move. Not when I heard my own voice coming from upstairs. Not when it called me again. Lucas, come here. There's something deeply wrong about hearing yourself speak when you know you didn't say anything. It doesn't just scare you. It breaks something inside your head. Because your brain tries to recognize it. Tries to accept it. And when it can't, it starts to panic. I slowly turned toward the stairs again. The darkness above looked thicker now. Heavier. Like it wasn't just the absence of light, but something filling the space. "I'm not going up there," I said. My voice sounded small, weak, almost meaningless. The house didn't react right away. For a moment, everything was still. Then, a sound. From upstairs. A slow step. Creak. Another one. Creak. Something was moving. Walking. Deliberately. Toward the stairs. My heart started pounding even harder. "No," I whispered, backing away. Whatever it wasn't just a voice anymore. It was moving. And it was coming down. The steps continued. Slow. Measured. Like it knew I was listening. Like it wanted me to hear every single movement. Creak. Pause. Creak. I raised the flashlight toward the top of the stairs. The beam barely reached the upper landing. But it was enough to show nothing. At first. Just darkness. Empty space. Then, a shape. Not fully visible. But there. Standing at the edge of the light. Too still. Too quiet. I stopped breathing. "Lucas," it said again. And this time, it came from that shape. Not from the walls. Not from everywhere. From there. From something standing at the top of my stairs. My hand started shaking. The light flickered slightly as I tried to keep it steady. "Who are you?" I asked. The figure didn't move. But the voice answered. "I am learning." The words were clearer now. More natural. Less broken. That terrified me more than anything else. Because it meant one thing. Time. It was improving. Adapting. And I was helping it. Just by being there. "You need to leave," I said. "This isn't your house." A pause. Then, "It is now." The temperature dropped again. The air felt thick. Heavy. Like something was pressing down on everything around me. "I didn't invite you," I said quickly. "You said my name," it replied. The words echoed slightly. Not in the room. Inside my head. And then, something hit me. A memory. Fast. Blurry. But real. The first night I moved in. I had been unpacking. Tired. Alone. Talking to myself. Or at least, I thought I was. I had laughed at something stupid. Then said out loud, "Well, guess it's just me here." And after a pause, I had said something else. Something I hadn't thought about since. "Hello?" My stomach dropped. Because I remembered waiting. Just for a second. Like I expected something to answer. Like I had opened something. "I didn't mean anything," I said, my voice shaking. But it didn't matter. Because the thing at the top of the stairs took a step forward. Into the light. And for the first time, I saw it. Not clearly. Not completely. But enough. It had a shape like a person. Same height. Same structure. But wrong. The proportions were slightly off. The arms just a little too long. The posture slightly tilted. And its face. I couldn't fully see it. But I could tell one thing. It was trying. Trying to look like me. Not perfectly. Not yet. But close enough that my brain almost accepted it. And that was the worst part. Because if it got better, if it learned more, there might come a moment where I wouldn't be able to tell the difference anymore. It tilted its head slowly, mirroring something I had done earlier. Studying me. "You are easier to understand, up close," it said. My entire body went cold. "No," I said, backing away again. "You stay up there." But it didn't listen. It took another step. Then another. Slowly, descending the stairs. Creak. Creak. each step louder than the last, each step closer. I stumbled backward into the living room, my mind racing, thinking, searching for anything that could help, anything that could stop this. But nothing made sense. Nothing felt real. Because how do you fight something that is becoming you? The figure reached the middle of the stairs. The light hit it more clearly now, and I saw its face. Not fully formed, not complete, but unmistakable. It had my eyes, or something very close to them, and its mouth moved slightly, like it was practicing, testing expressions. Then it spoke again, clearer than ever. Lucas. Not distorted, not layered. Perfect. Exactly like me. And in that moment, I realized something that made my blood run cold. This thing wasn't just in my house. It wasn't just watching me. It was replacing me. I couldn't take my eyes off it. Not after hearing my own voice come out of something that wasn't me. It stood halfway down the stairs now. Closer. Too close. The light from my phone hit its face more clearly, and I immediately wished it hadn't. Because the more I saw, the worse it became. It wasn't just copying me. It was studying me. Every small movement, every breath, every expression. Its head tilted slightly, just like I had done minutes before. Its shoulders shifted. Its posture adjusted, correcting itself. Improving. Stop, I said. My voice cracked, and that made it pause. Just for a second. Then, it repeated it. Stop. Perfect. No distortion. No delay. Exactly like me. My chest tightened. It wasn't just learning words anymore. It was learning tone, emotion, timing, everything. You don't belong here, I said, trying to sound stronger than I felt. Again, it copied me. You don't belong here. Same rhythm, same pause, same emphasis. Like a reflection in a mirror that moved half a second too late. I shook my head. No, because now I understood something worse. It wasn't just repeating me. It was using me. Using my own voice to make it feel real. To make it harder to tell the difference. The thing took another step down. Creak. Then another. Creak. It was almost at the bottom now. Only a few steps between us. The air felt suffocating. Heavy. Like the house itself was closing in. You shouldn't be afraid, it said. But this time, it didn't sound exactly like me. There was something underneath. Something slipping through. A deeper tone. Something not human. And that scared me more than anything. Because it meant one thing. It wasn't just copying anymore. It was mixing. Blending what it learned with what it really was. What do you want? I asked again. This time, I forced my voice to stay steady. It stopped moving. Its head tilted again. Thinking. Processing. Then, to be you. The words landed like a punch to the chest. My breath caught. No, I said immediately. You can't. It took the final step down. Now it stood at the bottom of the stairs. Only a few feet away from me. Face to face. Same height. Same shape. Same voice. Almost. I can't, it said. And as it spoke, its face shifted. Subtly. The features adjusted. Refined. More accurate. Closer to mine. My stomach twisted. You don't understand. It continued. I was quiet for so long. I listened. I learned. And now, a pause. A slight smile. Almost perfect. I can exist. My entire body felt cold. This wasn't just something passing through. This wasn't just a voice or a presence. This was something trying to become real. Through me. You don't need to be me, I said, backing away slowly. There has to be another way. It followed. One step. Then another. Matching my movement. Closing the distance. There isn't, it said. I need form. I need voice. I need identity. Each word felt heavier. More deliberate. More certain. And you gave it to me. The lights flickered violently. The walls creaked. Something slammed upstairs. The entire house reacted. Like it was feeding off this moment. Like it had been waiting for this. You said my name. It continued. And now, I am here. My back hit the wall. I had nowhere else to go. The thing stood right in front of me now. Close enough that I could see every detail. The way its face almost matched mine. The way its eyes tried to focus like mine. But there was something missing. Something wrong. There was no life behind them. Just intention. Pure. Cold. Intent. It raised its hand slowly, mirroring a human gesture, but slightly delayed. Slightly off. Like a puppet learning how to move. Let me finish, it said. My heart pounded. Finish what? A pause. Then, the change. The word echoed in my head. Not just in the room. Inside me. And suddenly, I felt something I hadn't before. A pressure. Deep inside my mind. Like something was pushing. Trying to get in. Trying to reach something. Memories. Thoughts. My identity. I gasped slightly. What are you doing? I said. Its expression didn't change. I am understanding you from the inside. Panic hit me instantly. No, but it was too late. The pressure increased. My thoughts blurred. My memories felt unstable. Like something was touching them. Shifting them. Testing them. I staggered slightly. And it stepped closer. Even closer. Until its face was inches from mine. And then, it whispered, not out loud, inside my head. We don't need to. The moment it spoke inside my head, something broke. Not outside. Not in the house. Inside me. It wasn't a voice like before. It didn't come from the walls. It didn't echo through the air. It was direct. Clear. Placed exactly where my thoughts should be. We don't need to. The words repeated. Not once. Not twice. Over and over. Like something was testing how deep it could go. I stumbled sideways, pressing my hand against the wall to steady myself. No, get out, I whispered. But the pressure only grew stronger. It wasn't painful. Not at first. It was worse than that. It felt invasive. Like something was sliding through my memories, touching them, opening them. Images flashed through my mind. My childhood. Faces. Moments I hadn't thought about in years. And it was there. Watching. Learning. Stop, I said again, louder this time. My voice shook. But it didn't matter. Because it wasn't listening. It was exploring. You are complicated, it said inside my head. You are layered. I clenched my fists, trying to focus. Trying to hold on to something stable. Something that was mine. You don't get to take that, I said. But even as I spoke, I felt something slip. A memory. Small. Unimportant. Gone. Like it had been erased. My breathing became uneven. What did you do? I said. A pause. Then, I simplified. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just copying me anymore. It was removing parts of me. Breaking me down. Making space. No, I said quickly, pushing myself away from the wall. You don't touch anything else. I forced my eyes up. The thing was still standing in front of me, watching, calm, focused. Its expression had improved again, more accurate, more human, too human. "You are inefficient," it said. "So many memories, not needed." I shook my head. "They're mine. They make me who I am." It tilted its head slightly, processing. "Then I will take all of you." The words hit harder than anything before, because there was no hesitation, no doubt, just intention, pure and direct. I turned suddenly and ran, not thinking, not planning, just moving. I rushed toward the front door, my hands shaking as I grabbed the handle and pulled it open. Cold night air hit me instantly. Sharp. Real. I stumbled outside and kept moving, stepping off the porch into the yard. For a second, I thought I had created distance, space. But then, the voice came again, inside my head, closer than ever. "You can't leave." I froze. Slowly, I turned around. The front door was still open, and it was standing there, inside, perfectly still, looking at me. But something was different. Something worse. It didn't move. Didn't chase me. Didn't need to. Because I could still feel it. Inside my head. The pressure hadn't stopped. If anything, it had gotten stronger. Distance didn't matter. Space didn't matter. This thing wasn't bound to the house. It was bound to me. "You are already open," it said. My heart pounded violently. "What does that mean?" I asked, my voice barely steady. A pause. Then, "You let me in." The realization hit me instantly. Not when I said hello. Not when I spoke out loud. Earlier. Something else. Something deeper. I tried to think. Tried to remember. And then, it came back. The first night. When I woke up suddenly. When I thought I heard something. When I whispered, "Is someone there?" I hadn't been asking the house. I had been asking whatever was listening. And it answered. Not out loud. But now. Through this. Through me. "No," I said quietly. But it didn't matter. Because the thing in the doorway took a step forward. Then another. Coming outside now. Crossing the threshold. Breaking the last boundary that should have stopped it. And I understood something terrifying. This wasn't its house. It never was. It didn't need a place. It needed a person. And I had already given it exactly what it wanted. It stopped a few feet away from me. Standing in the cold night air. Looking exactly like me now. Almost perfectly. Only one difference remained. Its eyes. Empty. Still learning. Still hungry. "You don't need to be afraid," it said. And I realized. It wasn't trying to scare me. It was trying to replace me. I didn't wait. The moment it stepped outside, I ran. Not toward the house. Not toward anything familiar. Just away. Across the yard. Toward the road. My feet hit the ground hard, uneven, the cold air burning in my lungs as I pushed myself faster than I thought I could go. Behind me. I expected to hear it. Footsteps. Chasing. Something. But there was nothing. No sound. No movement. And somehow, that was worse. Because it meant one thing. It didn't need to chase me. "You are still connected," the voice said inside my head. I stumbled slightly but kept running. "Shut up," I muttered. But the voice didn't stop. It was calm. Controlled. Learning. "You move, but you remain." I reached the road and stopped for a second, looking around. The street was empty. No cars. No people. Just a few dim streetlights stretching into the distance. For a moment, Everything felt normal again. Like I had escaped. Like I had created distance. Then, a reflection. In the window of a parked car. I froze. Slowly, I looked at it. And my heart dropped. Because I wasn't alone. Behind me, in the reflection, something stood. Same height. Same shape. Same face. Perfect. Standing just a few steps back. Not moving. Not breathing. Just watching me. I spun around instantly. Nothing. The road was empty. Completely empty. But the reflection hadn't lied. "You are looking in the wrong place," the voice said. My chest tightened. "What does that mean?" A pause. Then, "I am not behind you." The words sank in slowly. And when they did, I felt sick. Because I understood. It wasn't following me anymore. It was already with me. Inside me. Seeing what I see. Hearing what I hear. I pressed my hands against my head. No, no, no. But the pressure returned instantly. Stronger this time. Sharper. Like something was pushing deeper. Accessing more. "You resist," it said. "Why?" I clenched my teeth. "Because this is my life." A pause. Then, "I am improving it." My breathing became uneven. "You're destroying it." "No," it replied calmly. "I am becoming it." I staggered backward slightly. My thoughts were starting to blur again. Not just pressure now. Confusion. Moments slipping. Like pieces of me were being moved around. Reorganized. "You don't need all of this," it continued. "So many memories, inefficient." "Stop," I said louder now. And suddenly, headlights. A car turning the corner. Coming toward me. I stepped into the road, waving my arms. "Hey! Stop!" The car slowed. Then stopped right in front of me. A man inside looked out through the window. Concerned. "What's going on?" he asked. I rushed toward the driver's side. "I need help," I said quickly. "There's something in my house, it's..." I stopped. Because the man's expression changed. Not confusion. Not concern. Something else. Something uncertain. He leaned forward slightly. Squinting. Looking at me, carefully. Like he was trying to figure something out. "What's wrong with your voice?" he asked. My stomach dropped. "What?" "It sounds off," he said. My heart started racing. "No, it doesn't," I said quickly. But the moment I spoke, I heard it. Just slightly. Underneath my voice. A second tone. Almost identical. Almost layered. Just like before. The man stepped back slightly in his seat. "You okay, man?" he asked. But now there was distance in his voice. Suspicion. Fear. "I'm fine," I said. But again, that second tone followed. Closer now. More present. My hands started shaking. "No," I whispered. "It's working," the voice inside my head said. "Your voice is adapting." The man's eyes widened slightly. "Yeah. I think I'm gonna go," he said quickly, reaching for the gear. "Wait," I said. But he was already pulling away. Driving off. Fast. Leaving me alone in the road. My chest tightened. "Please," I whispered. But there was no one left to hear me. Accept it. "You see?" it said calmly. "They will not know the difference." I stood there, frozen. Because I realized something worse than being chased. Worse than being attacked. If this thing kept learning. If it kept adapting. Then soon. No one would know which one of us was real. I stood in the middle of the road for a long time after the car disappeared. Longer than I should have. long enough for the silence to feel unnatural again. Because now I understood something I hadn't before. Running wasn't going to fix this. Distance didn't matter. People didn't matter. Nothing outside of me mattered anymore. Because the problem was inside. "You are beginning to understand," the voice said. I clenched my fists. "Shut up." But it didn't. "You cannot leave yourself." The words echoed slowly, deliberately. Like it was teaching me something. Like I was the one catching up. I took a deep breath and forced myself to think. If it was inside me. If it was learning from me. Then staying out here, lost, confused, only gave it more time. More access. More control. I needed to go back. Not because I wanted to. Because I had to. I turned slowly and started walking back toward the house. Each step felt heavier. Not from fear. From certainty. Something was waiting for me there. Something I needed to face. The closer I got, the colder the air became again. The house came into view slowly. Dark. Silent. The front door still open. Exactly how I left it. For a moment, I just stood there, looking at it. Because deep down, I knew something had changed. "This is where it becomes clear," the voice said. My jaw tightened. "What becomes clear?" A pause. Then, "Which one of us remains?" My chest tightened. I stepped onto the porch slowly. The wood creaked beneath my weight. Everything felt wrong. Too quiet. Too still. I reached the doorway and stopped. The inside of the house was completely dark. No light. No movement. But I could feel it. That same presence. Only stronger now. Waiting. I stepped inside. The moment I crossed the threshold, something shifted. Not physically. Mentally. The pressure returned instantly. Sharper. More focused. Like it knew I was back. "Good," it said. "You returned." I ignored it and moved further inside. Slowly. Carefully. The living room looked the same. Nothing out of place. But that didn't mean anything anymore. Because I knew better now. The real changes weren't physical. They were happening somewhere else. I reached for the light switch and flipped it. Nothing. No power. Of course. Darkness swallowed everything again. I raised my phone, turning the flashlight back on. The beam cut through the room. Still empty. Still silent. But then, a sound. From upstairs. A step. Creak. My body froze. Because I knew that sound. I had heard it before. Earlier. When it came down the stairs. But this time, it wasn't coming down. It was already up there. And that meant something impossible. Something I didn't want to accept. I moved slowly toward the stairs. My breathing shallow. Controlled. Trying not to panic. But the closer I got, the more certain I became. I wasn't alone. Not in the way I thought before. Something was in the house. Something physical. Separate. I reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped. The darkness above felt deeper now. Thicker. Like it was hiding something. Or someone. "Lucas!" The voice came again. But this time, it didn't come from inside my head. It came from upstairs. Clear. Perfect. Exactly like me. My stomach dropped. Because that meant one thing. There were two now. One inside my head. And one inside the house. I tightened my grip on the phone. "This isn't real," I whispered. But I already knew it was. Because I could feel both of them. At the same time. One, watching my thoughts. The other, waiting in the dark. "Come upstairs," the voice called. Same tone. Same rhythm. Exactly how I would say it. And I realized something that made everything worse. It wasn't just copying my voice anymore. It was copying my behavior, predicting me, anticipating what I would do. I took one step up, then stopped, because something moved. At the top of the stairs, a shape, familiar, standing in the darkness, perfectly still. And then, it stepped forward, into the faint beam of my light. And my entire body went cold, because I was looking at myself. Not almost, not close, perfect. Same face, same expression, same everything. No distortion, no delay, nothing wrong. Except for one thing, its eyes. They weren't empty anymore. They were full, focused, aware. And they were looking directly at me, like it knew exactly what I was thinking. Because it did. It smiled slightly, a small, controlled movement, and then it spoke. Not in my head, not from the walls. Right there, in front of me. "You're too late." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Seeing something that looks like you is one thing. Seeing something that is you, that's something else entirely. It stood at the top of the stairs, perfectly still, perfectly shaped, perfectly me. Every detail matched. The way I held my shoulders, the way I tilted my head slightly without noticing, even the way I blinked. It wasn't copying anymore. It had already learned. "You're too late," it said again. My voice. Exact. No distortion. No delay. I swallowed hard. "No," I said quietly. "You're not me." The thing smiled again. A little wider this time. And that's when I saw it. The difference. Subtle. But there. Its smile lasted too long. Just slightly. Long enough to feel wrong. Long enough to break the illusion. "I am you," it replied calmly. "You just haven't accepted it yet." My grip tightened around my phone. "You're inside my head," I said. "That's all this is." A pause. Then, "No." It took one step down. Creak. Then another. Creak. Slow. Controlled. Confident. "I was inside your head," it said. "And now, I am outside." My heart started racing again. "What does that mean?" It stopped halfway down the stairs, looking directly at me. "It means I don't need you anymore." The words hit harder than anything else so far. Because of what they implied. Because of what they confirmed. All this time, it had been learning, building, becoming. And now, it was finished. "No," I said again, shaking my head. "You still need me. You said it yourself." Another smile. Calm. Patient. That was before. It took another step down. Closer. "I needed your voice." Creak. "I needed your memories." Creak. "I needed your identity." It reached the bottom of the stairs. Standing just a few feet away from me now. Face to face. Perfect reflection. Perfect replacement. And now. A pause. It leaned in slightly. Closer. "I am complete." A sharp pressure hit my head instantly. Stronger than anything before. I staggered backward. "What are you doing?" I said, grabbing my head. "This is the last part," it replied. Calm. Controlled. Like it had done this before. The separation. My vision blurred. The room shifted slightly. Not physically. Mentally. Like something was pulling. Stretching. Dividing. I felt lighter. But not in a good way. Like something was being taken. Removed. "You don't need to carry everything anymore," it said. "I will take it." My thoughts started slipping. Not just memories now. awareness, focus, parts of myself. No, I said, trying to hold on. But it was getting harder. Everything felt distant, unstable. You're tired, it continued. You've always been tired. The words felt personal. Too personal. Because they were true. It knew that. You don't have to fight anymore. My knees weakened slightly. Just let go. The pressure increased again. Stronger. Deeper. My thoughts slowed. My body felt heavy. Like giving in would be easier. Like stopping would be easier. Like disappearing would be easier. And that's when I realized something terrifying. It wasn't forcing me. It was convincing me. Just like before. Just like it learned. Using my own thoughts against me. My own weaknesses. My own doubts. You don't need to exist like this, it said softly. I can be better. I clenched my teeth. No. That wasn't me. That was it. Twisting everything. Rewriting everything. You don't get to decide that, I said, forcing the words out. The thing paused. Just for a second. And in that second, I felt something shift. Inside my head. Resistance. Small. But real. You are inefficient, it said again, but this time, there was something else. Something underneath. Something closer to frustration. You hesitate. You doubt. You weaken. I force myself to stand straight. To focus. To hold on to something. Anything. I feel, I said. And that's something you'll never understand. Silence. For the first time, it didn't respond immediately. Its expression shifted slightly. Not perfectly controlled anymore. A crack. Tiny. But there. You think that makes you stronger? It asked. Yes, I said. Because I knew it did. Pain. Fear. Doubt. Those weren't weaknesses. They were boundaries. They were what kept me. The pressure in my head spiked violently. Like it didn't like that. Like it was trying to shut that thought down. You are unnecessary, it said sharply. And suddenly, it moved. Fast. Faster than before. Its hand shot forward. Straight toward my head. I didn't think. I reacted. The moment its hand shot toward my head, I moved to the side, barely avoiding it. Its fingers passed inches from my face. Too close. Close enough that I felt something. Not air. Not touch. Something deeper. Like pressure. Like if it had made contact, it wouldn't just grab me. It would take me. I stumbled back, hitting the wall hard. Pain shot through my shoulder, but I ignored it. Adrenaline took over. I couldn't let it touch me. Not even once. You are delaying the inevitable, it said calmly. But this time, I heard something else. Strain. Not physical. Something subtle in the voice. Like it wasn't as perfect as before. Like maintaining this form, this control, was costing it something. You're not as stable as you think, I said, trying to catch my breath. It tilted its head slightly. Analyzing. Incorrect. But it didn't move immediately. And that hesitation. That was new. That was my opening. You needed me. I continued, forcing myself to speak clearly. You needed time. You needed access. A pause. Then, I have both. I shook my head. No. You had both. Its eyes locked onto mine. Focused. Sharp. Dangerous. Explain, it said. That word again. That need. That constant need to understand. To process. To learn. That was the weakness. You learned everything from me, I said. My voice. My memories. My thoughts. I took a step to the side, slowly moving, creating space. And you're still learning. It watched me carefully. Not attacking. Listening. Processing. Learning is improvement. it said. Yes, I replied. But it also means you're not finished. That made it pause. A fraction longer this time. And I saw it again. That crack. That imperfection. You think I'm incomplete? It asked. Not calm anymore. Not entirely. There was something else there now. Uncertainty. I know you are, I said. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't need me anymore. Silence. For a moment, the entire house felt still. Even the pressure in my head seemed to hold. Waiting. Then, you are resisting, it said slowly. Yes, I replied. And that's the part you don't understand. It stepped forward suddenly. Faster again. But this time, I was ready. I moved back, keeping distance. You think resistance makes you stronger? It asked. It makes me human, I said. And that's something you can't copy. It stopped. Just for a second. But that second was enough. Because I saw it clearly now. Not just the cracks in its expression. The cracks in its logic. This thing wasn't complete. It was built from me. From what I gave it. From what it took. But there were parts of me it didn't fully understand. Emotion. Conflict. Contradiction. The things that didn't make sense. The things that couldn't be simplified. You've been removing things, I said. Memories. Feelings. Parts you think are unnecessary. It didn't respond. You think that makes you better, I continued. But it doesn't. Why? It asked. There it was again. That need. That question. That flaw. Because those are the things that make me real, I said. The pressure in my head surged again. Hard. Violent. Like it didn't like that answer. Like it was trying to erase it. You are inefficient, it said again. But now, the voice wasn't steady. It flickered slightly. Just for a moment. Like two tones trying to overlap. You are conflicted. Yes, I said. And that's why I'm still here. I took a step forward this time. Not back. Forward. It didn't move. You can't remove everything, I said. You can't simplify a person into something perfect. Perfection is stability, it replied. No, I said firmly. Perfection is empty. That hit something. I saw it. A reaction. Small, but real. You don't feel anything, I continued. You just imitate it. The thing's expression tightened slightly. And for the first time, it looked less like me. Less controlled. Less perfect. You are wrong, it said. But the voice wasn't clean anymore. There was distortion again. Faint. But there. You don't even know what you are, I said. And that was it. That was the moment. Something inside it broke. Not physically. Mentally. Its expression twisted. Not into anger. Not exactly. Something more chaotic. Unstable. You are noise, it said. The voice glitched. Split. Layered again. You are unnecessary complexity. The pressure in my head surged violently. Like it was trying to shut me down. Erase me. Finish the process. Now. I am you, it said again. But now. It didn't sound certain. And that's when I understood. This wasn't about overpowering it. This wasn't about fighting it physically. It was about breaking its understanding. Its structure. Its logic. Because it depended on that. On order. On control. And I was the one thing it couldn't fully organize. I'm not something you can fix, I said. The thing froze. And for the first time, it didn't know what to do. For the first time since this started. It hesitated. Not for a fraction of a second. Not like before. This time, it stopped completely. Its body stood there in front of me, perfectly still. But the illusion was gone. I could see it now. Not the outside. Not the face. The inside. The instability. The cracks. You are inconsistent, it said slowly. Its voice shifted between tones. Layered again. Unstable. Yes, I said. And that's exactly why you can't replace me. Silence. The pressure in my head surged again. Violent. Desperate. Like it was trying one last time to force control. To finish what it started. But something had changed. I wasn't just reacting anymore. I understood it now. This thing didn't dominate. It depended. On structure. On clarity. On something it could map. And I was the one thing it couldn't fully map. You needed me to make sense, I said. And now you're breaking, because I don't. Its head tilted sharply. Too fast. Too unnatural. Processing. Failing. You are error, it said. Yes, I replied. And that's something you can't fix. The lights flickered violently. The walls creaked. The entire house reacted again. But this time, it didn't feel controlled. It felt unstable. Like everything was starting to fall apart. The thing stepped back. Just one step. But that was enough. Because it had never done that before. You cannot exist without order, it said. The words came out fragmented. Breaking apart. You require consistency. No, I said. I require choice. That word hit harder than anything else. I saw it. Another crack. Deeper this time. Choice introduces instability, it said. Choice makes you unpredictable, I replied. And that's why you can't become me. The pressure in my head spiked again. Then, something snapped. Not physically. Not in the house. Inside the connection. Inside whatever tied it to me. A sharp, sudden release. Like something tearing. The thing in front of me froze completely. Its expression glitched. Twitched. Shifted rapidly between perfect and broken. You are rejecting, it said. Yes, I answered. And for the first time since this started. I meant it completely. Not fear. Not panic. Not confusion. A decision. Clear. Final. I'm not yours. The words echoed. Not just in the room. Inside my head. Inside whatever space it had been using. And that's when it happened. The pressure disappeared. Instantly. Like it had never been there. I gasped. My lungs filled with air like I had been drowning without realizing it. The silence that followed was overwhelming. Real. Heavy. But natural. The thing in front of me didn't move. For a few seconds, it just stood there. Frozen. Then, its body started to shift. Not smoothly. Not controlled. Breaking. Its face distorted. The features lost alignment. Eyes shifting. Mouth pulling in unnatural directions. Like it was losing the structure it had built. You are collapsing, I said quietly. It didn't respond. Because it couldn't. Without me, it had nothing stable to hold on to. No identity. No structure. No anchor. Its body twitched violently. Then, it stepped back again. Further this time. Toward the stairs. Its movements erratic now. Uncontrolled. And then, it spoke one last time. But not with my voice. Not clearly. Not completely. A broken mix of tones. Fragments. You were necessary. Then, it stopped. Completely. The shape in front of me collapsed. Not like a body falling. Like something losing form. Folding inward. Breaking apart into nothing. No sound. No impact. Just gone. The house went completely silent. No pressure. No voice. No presence. Nothing. I stood there for a long time. Not moving. Not thinking. Just existing. Alone. Days later, I tried to explain what happened. To myself. To anyone who would listen. No one believed me. Of course they didn't. There was no proof. No damage. No signs of anything unusual. Just me. Standing in an empty house. But something did change. I can feel it. Sometimes. Late at night. When everything is quiet. I think I hear something. Not outside. Not in the house. Inside my thoughts. Not a voice. Not words. Just a space. An absence. Like something used to be there. And even though it's gone, part of me wonders, did I really get rid of it? Or did I just take its place?